drum roll please. The time has come for the new workshop. Now this unsightly residence is what I built shortly after leaving my old workshop, and all that kit that I had accumulated needed to go somewhere, so I quickly erected this out of pallets and scrap basically. But it has been here for years and years, so I'm fairly confident its replacement will go unnoticed. So the guidelines I have stuck to as far as planning permission goes, I've left a link in the description for those who are wondering. But yeah, I got a cracking deal on some materials, I tell you now. So, for your viewing pleasure, we shall dismantle this shanty, displace the occupants who are living in it, and figure out where I'm gonna relocate all that junk. Let's get to work. Right, so to speed things up and get things all square and level for marking out the workshop, I've invested in one of these little bits of kit. Right, I've just already set this up, but let me show you. So here, the laser is going along the house, following exactly in line with the house, and it's also got another one going straight up. Over at the other end of the house, you can zoom in, and there's a little line on it. That's it's brilliant. That shows me where that laser is, and that's in line with the edge of the house now. Which means, if I mark out the exact distance from the house over this way, I can find the exact 90-degree corner of my workshop. Right, so to double check, I'm going to measure now corner to corner. If it's off by a little bit, that's fine, because I'm going to make the framework square, and that will sit on top. And these pegs will give me a level height, because I can then use the laser level to cut a perfect level across the two, if you see what I mean. I'll show you. Right, as far as I can see, it's within 2 millimeters, which is fantastic and was very quick to do. So that's my tip. You obviously don't need to use a laser to do this. I chose one where you could fix the axes. That way, if I needed to build, say, staircases or something, I can measure the angle, laser it up, and get all of my hole centers sorted for doing big installations and stuff like this. But it just makes life like this so quick. Alright, so if you don't have a fancy laser, you can use the 5-3-4 method, if you can see that. You know, if you've got 2 tape measures, you can basically measure, as long as the ratio of what you're measuring is 5-3-4. If you measure, let's just say 4 meters in one direction, 3 meters in the other, and then where those 2 points, as long as that is 5 meters between the two, you'll get a perfect 90 degrees just by using a few tape measures. It's a bit fiddly to do on your own. I mean, I've done it on site, but I've had other people around me to help me do it. But if you're doing this stuff like the DIY projects on your own, investing in a little laser, and they're not a lot of money either. And as always, all the kit that I use, I try and put links in the description if they're available. Right, so I've just started cutting all the framework for the workshop. My tool of choice is the plasma cutter. And if you haven't seen it, I've done a review on the plasma cutter, and I'm going to use that to build a plasma table. I'm going to do all the miter cuts, all simply using my square and using these little guide wheels. That's what I'm doing. Now for accuracy, what I've done is I've taken a measurement from the outside of this guide wheel to the edge of the pilot arc, which for me with this setup is 24 millimeters. So all I've done was mark off the line that I want to cut, 24 millimeters behind, put my square on that, and that is how I'm cutting, as I shall demonstrate its quickness. Et voila, simple as that. Right, so I've already started tacking one of the frames together. What I'll do is I'll tack each corner, then measure my diagonals, stiffen it together, and then weld it fully. And if I show you this new clamp I got, yeah, I'm happy enough with that. I've got a few holes to put in these now. Now I could use the plasma cutter, but I've got a brand new toy that I did a review on, and I think we'll use that bad boy. I've got a 20mm hole to put right there for the electric cable to pass through. I love it! And then I'll actually cut along that. Oh, actually, could I do... Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm going to try something else. Okay, I probably could have done a neater job with the angle grinder, but hey ho. You've got to have fun at these things, don't you? Before attempting to do anything sketchy, seek professional advice before you do. Not me. Right, because you missed it, I got some more punching action. Right, I think this is a good opportunity to introduce another tool. Right, this is my uprights. This is going against the house, and I'm going to drill holes to anchor it on. But there's a bit of a gap, and I need to kind of like hold it here, get it all aligned, and then start drilling and putting some fixings in. Obviously, doing all of that on your own is a bit difficult. So this tool, I think everyone should have a few of these in their toolbox. It's a windbag. If you've not seen what these do. Apparently £300 a force, although I've seen some that are £600. And they're excellent for like levelling doors and things like that. But in this case, I'm going to use it to engage this at the top while I align it up. One-handed. You got to sing the song. Got to pump it up. You know to pump it up. Pump, 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 pump. That's not how the song goes because of copyright. There you go. That's holding it fairly stiff in place whilst I drill. Right, so I've got the parallels cut. I think I'm ready to start layering things up. But we've got a weather warning coming in and it's already started to rain, so I've had a mad panic to tidy everything up. But if I can, I'll move this frame out of the way and I'll put some waterproofs on and I'll start digging. Move, move, move. Right, it's raining unfortunately, but still, I've never heard of a man go rusty, so we'll carry on going. Camera, however, and welding gear, that's not such a good idea, in case you didn't know. Right, so this little fence you can see here, I've got to take that down. And I've got a cherry tree just there that I'd like to save it if I can. It was going to be a living gate post, save me erecting one and just grow one instead. But ironically, I do love trees, even though I work in an industry that the climate changes don't like. Right, okay, the weather has been awful, but we finally got a break and I can start cracking on with things. Now, behind me here, you can see that I've buried a paint thinner's tin. That is basically going to be a mould and a form for pouring concrete, and that is set to the exact level height of the workshop. And I've got 4 of them all in a row here, all already set, so I'm just about to mix the concrete and pour it in. And to speed things up, I've got a quick setting pre-mixed concrete. So it's just a case of mixing water into the right consistency and pouring it in.
Landing on my head, it would knock me out.
Good, yeah.
Should I hold it, please? Here's
Just
me cameo.
hold it on that bottom corner.
Is this me cameo roll?
Your cameo, you're going to be famous.
Yeah. Here you go, I watched it drop too many times and I can't bear it. YouTube fame, I knew it would come at last.
Yeah, that's good. Big. Right, I'm going to weld this end up.
Daddy can't work in a tin can forever, can he?
It's literally about to rain, that's so annoying. Okay, that's not good.
So take the camera.
Yeah. Right, this is getting increasingly sketchy now. I believe I've lost all of my professional accreditation. But another break in the weather, everything's wet, so I'm going to heat it with a blowtorch and dry it out a little bit. Weld it together. Right, roofing can go on now. I've got some insulated panels and I brought a light so we can work until night. Right, so continuing on, I've just wired in my new lighting. Let's see if it works, shall we? Old lights off. New lights on. Woo! So, very simply, it's just LED strip lighting. It's really cheap, and I've held them on using these sheet metal clips, normally for automotive, but they grab the angle iron really well. The stuff comes pre-sticky back, but that won't last forever. And then all I've got in the board is the drivers that turn 240 volt into 12 volt. The only thing I've done here is the drivers. Everything else I actually paid an electrician to do for me. And this is a module that I can remove, because technically all of this is just temporary. So all the expensive parts, I like to take them with me if ever we had to leave. And I've actually got a cable reel to go up here, so that will be able to pull cables out and keep all the wires off the floor, which I absolutely hate. And as you can see, designated power supply for my welder and plasma cutter. But yeah, as always, don't mess with electronics unless you know what you're doing. I don't really know what I'm doing, I just like to play with dangerous things. Right, so as it stands, so far all the work that I've done here has been about 6 days, including tearing down the old shack and clearing all of that. Cost-wise, all of these panels I got for £30. That's because I went to a farmer's market and no one else seemed to want them, so I bid for it and I got the lot. The angle iron didn't cost a lot. That was just over, well, maybe like a couple of £100 or something. All the lighting didn't cost a lot either. If you want to include it, the electricity board and all the gubbins that I've paid for that, that was about £650. That was probably the most expensive part, and that was going into the breaker switch of the house as well also. But I've quite literally been having sleepless nights because I keep thinking I can hear something. It's probably just the sheeting in the background moving, but because I've got equipment out here and no security, like any passerby could probably waltz in and grab stuff, I've been rather unsettled. So bearing that in mind, I've got something to show you. But first, I want to explain that all of the equipment, all of the tools that you've seen in this video, I've bought with my own money and tried to get the best deal possible, and therefore I've shared the links so you guys can benefit from my findings. So, a company called Reolink have sent me a parcel, and I said I would be grateful to try this out because Reolink are a security camera company. Come at just at the right time, I think. Let's open it. So, if whatever's in this box is any good, I made sure Reolink were going to give you, my subscribers, a special discount. So there will be a link in the description, providing that these are all right, that you can benefit from. And I'm going to make that a pact on all the sponsorship that I get. But there's got to be something in it for you guys. I can't just be given free stuff. Right, let's do this. Right, so this is battery powered. It sounds silly, but like I could just pick this up and drop it into this little cradle if I wanted it in the house or something. So this is obviously how they suggest for mounting. You've got a simple screw attachment here, or you could have screws come through here. Right, I'm going to put it on charge because it recommends you fully charge it first. I'll install the software and we'll see how it works, shall we? Right, so this is obviously filmed through the camera that has been given to me. It's actually brilliant. This works through Wi-Fi, so I'm able to access this footage anywhere where there's internet, which is fantastic. And funnily enough, my router is the opposite side of the house, right at the very end. So for it to reach this far, it's actually quite impressive. So I'm recording this. You can see on my phone the app as it goes into infinity. But what it will actually do is detect anything that's coming by and ping me a signal to say something's triggered the alarm. So middle of the night, I can hear this ping. I can have a look without getting out of my bed wondering what is that outside. It'll save the footage to my phone, but there is also an SD card in the camera. So it wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi. There was an outage of some sort. It would automatically still record those that footage. This has to be the most impressive part though. Wait until I turn out the lights. Right, so it's pitch black in here. I can barely see a thing other than through my phone. But you can clearly see me, which is fantastic. The other thing is it's got a light on it. So if I turn the light on, that would automatically turn on when it's recording as well, so you get a really good shot of whatever's come past. And also it has an alarm that I can trigger. There you go, hear that? So that's another thing. My wife could install this app and talk to me through the camera. So me working on my own, that is a real benefit to my safety. If I have an accident, no one can see me, no one can actually hear me, so my wife can actually check in and just make sure that I'm all right without inconvenience herself with what she's doing. It was easy to install, both physically and through the app. I'd consider getting more of these around the place, and because it's solar powered as well, it's fine. In fact, I haven't actually installed the solar panel, and this has been outside here for 2-3 nights now, and it's still got 80% battery, so it goes to show how efficient they actually run. Actually very impressed. Right, back to work. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to do is fit some doors on. I've got these garage doors, very, very cheap price, 50 quid each basically. These are up and over garage doors, but there's a problem. They don't fit. That's because when I designed and made that workshop, I rushed it basically. I didn't consider anything. I just thought, whatever door I need, I'll make it fit. Found these at a very good price and just snatched them up. Yeah, I did check the dimensions, but I've got to make a decision now of either adjusting the workshop to fit the doors or adjust the doors to fit the workshop. Unfortunately, I've run out of time, so it's going to be open-ended for now, and I'm going to leave it for a while, and so I'm going to do a second video on finishing it off, I'm afraid. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Do let me know if you have any concerns on this build, or if you have any questions, anything like that, because I've got a chance to, you know, fix it, make it right, or explain in more detail in the next video. So very lastly, it should go without saying, but if you're going to attempt to do something like this yourself, you need to check with your local authorities on what permissions you have, and if there are any building codes that you are subject to. And obviously asking for permission of all kinds is a very good idea. So it's actually Christmas Eve today here, so I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, if you're not already enjoyed it or have enjoyed it. But I wish you all the very best, and so happy forging a life worth living, and I shall see you in the next episode. Goodbye.